Toyota's Prius V is part of the ever-growing Prii family. Now you could say that the V in the name stands for versatile, as the Prius V has substantially more interior space than the classic Prius, but even though the Prius has been fully redesigned, the Prius V still stands as a pretty good alternative for someone who's looking for more cargo and interior space without having a huge sacrifice on fuel efficiency. So let's go ahead and check out this 2017 Toyota Prius V, and let's take a closer look. Now it's safe to say that the Prius V is more of a wagon than a crossover, and it's pretty rare to find a wagon on the automotive market nowadays, especially in North America. But you could tell that it's a wagon rather than a crossover because it doesn't have the higher ground clearance of a crossover, and then the driving position is more like a car's rather than a SUV's. Now the Prius V certainly isn't the sexiest looking thing out there. I rather get the regular Prius. I like the styling of the regular Prius a little bit more, but to each his own. Ours comes in this toasted walnut exterior color. Not a huge fan of it, but ours is a 3 model. It's a mid-trim level. Here goes the key fob design for the vehicle. You have your lock, unlock, and then your panic button. Now, as you can see, the Prius V is actually 100% Japanese. It's not built here, and none of the parts come from the United States either. And it's a true vehicle that's imported from Japan. And that's actually kind of rare to see nowadays, especially in North America. Now, you do have smart key access on the driver's door and the front passenger door. Like I said, it's the toasted walnut exterior color. You have a full-on black cloth interior, manual driver's seat adjustments with manual recline, and you also do have power lumbar. Alright, now stepping on inside of the Prius V here. This is kind of an older design. This is based on the last generation Prius, but it still looks pretty modern and a little futuristic. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's high quality looking, however, as some of the interior plastics are pretty cheap feeling. You do have push button ignition. Just put your foot on the brake and hit the button to start. And as you just heard, the gas engine just kicked in. And it's a 1.8 liter 4-cylinder that you're hearing, paired with an electric motor. Coming to your transmission, we have a CVT automatic transmission, and in typical Prius fashion, you go down for drive, up for reverse, and when you put the vehicle into reverse, this will display your rearview camera with guidance lines. You also do have regenerative braking, of course, and all you have to do is push for park. Easy as that. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the lights and the hazards. Automatic driver's side window. Let's go and pop up the hood and check out the engine bay. Now, the Prius V was introduced in the 2012 model year, and it got significantly updated in the 2015 model year, which included refreshed interior and exterior styling details and more features as well. Now, the Prius V isn't the only member of the Prii family. We have the regular Prius, and this is the new redesigned Prius right here. And then you also do have the smaller Prius C, and then the Prius Prime is also coming too. You have halogen projector beam headlights. LED daytime running lights are also an option. Alright, now powering the Prius V here is a 1.8 liter inline 4-cylinder that produces 134 horsepower at 5,200 RPM. Now, the fuel efficiency numbers, you're looking at 43 in the city and 39 on the highway. That's actually bumped down for the 2017 model year, and the EPA estimated the Prius V at 44 in the city and 40 on the highway in the 2016 model year. Now this 1.8 liter inline four cylinder is also paired with an electric motor, the hybrid Synergy Drive. Is what Toyota likes to call this system. And they've been using it for years, and it's proven to be very reliable. Now, this powertrain actually provides pretty lackluster acceleration, especially for how big the Prius V is. It's not really suited well for this vehicle. 16-inch alloy wheels. Now, there's not that many competitors for the Prius V, but one key main direct competitor for the vehicle includes the Ford C-Max Hybrid. Now, total vehicle price for our particular Prius V is $29,120. Now, one way you could tell that this is a hybrid vehicle is by Toyota's blue badging on the emblem. You also do have LED taillights with a rear window wiper and a rear window defroster and an LED third brake light. Of course, all of your basic power necessities: power windows, power door locks, power mirrors, chrome interior door handles. Now, interior quality in the Prius V is okay, certainly not top notch here. Some of the interior plastics do feel pretty cheap and chintzy. Up here, like right here, even though it's soft touch, these plastics feel very cheap. And then down here, it's all soft touch. Right here, it's soft touch, and then it goes back to a hard touch plastic. Build quality is okay. I'd certainly say that the Ford C-Max Hybrid has a much better interior design, and the build quality is much better too. The interior design, even though it's pretty futuristic and modern looking, it's just a very cheap interior. Now, the steering wheel design is okay looking in the Prius V, but you do have your steering wheel mounted audio controls right here, and then your Bluetooth phone controls, as well as your voice recognition. And then these controls control your information center, which I would get to in just a minute. You also do have your cruise control stock down here, intermittent windshield wipers. There's also many safety technologies that you can get on the Prius V, including lane departure warning and dynamic radar cruise control. Up here, you also do have a manually dimming rearview mirror, sunglass container, and your map lights. Now, one gripe I do have with the Prius V is that it has a very awkward driving position. I'm not a huge fan of this driving position, and it was pretty hard for me to find a comfortable driving position. If you are a taller driver, this vehicle may be kind of hard to find a comfortable driving position in. Now, coming to the infotainment system and the main head unit, this is Toyota's Entune system, and I love it because it's very user-friendly and intuitive. Coming to your different audio sources, you do have AM, FM, XM satellite radio, CD player with your optical disc drive, your USB port, and your auxiliary input, all that good stuff. And you also do have your AV too. But the responsiveness is just lightning quick. And then you have your apps, which include your navigation, but you have to have an SD card inserted. Then you have your phone, you have an eco monitor, shows you the energy monitor, and then you have your trip information too. One thing I don't like about this screen is that it's prone to show fingerprints. Then you have your general right here too. Many setup things that you could do here, including the audio, phone, Bluetooth, navigation, and the display. Then you have your weather. You can show the current weather. And then your live traffic. But you have to have an SD card inserted for that. Then you have your maintenance schedules too. and you have to have your SD card inserted for that. So the SD card pretty much runs a lot of the stuff on this system here. But you do have HD radio, and you also do have Grace Note too. This is where you will also find the SD card slot right here. Then you have your Seek and Track button as well. Then this is your home screen. You can configure it how you would like. Coming to the climate controls, I'm not a huge fan of the way these climate controls are either. They just made it a lot harder than it really needs to be. And to go to the different zones, you go by this dial right here. And then when you go to the temperatures, you have to switch over like this. I just really don't like that. I think it's much more complicated than it needs to be. Then you have your fan speeds, of course, front window defroster, rear window defroster, and your recycling mode, and then your AC off button. And then it also shows your exterior temperature readout too. Coming down here, you have lots of storage space down here on the Prius V, and then maybe you could put a cell phone down right here or something. You also do have a 12-volt power outlet, USB port with your auxiliary input. Then you have a single cup holder. Then right here you'll also find another cup holder, pretty interesting. Kind of reminds me of BMW. And then you have a pretty large center console, lots of storage space in here. And the center console lid is also nice and soft touch. Down here, this is where you'll find your different driving modes, which I'll explain in just a second. Now coming up here, this is where you'll find your driver information center. And then on the left, you have your digital speedometer, and it shows you your fuel gauge and what gear you're in. And then you have your digital clock right there. Coming to the information center, it's controlled by the buttons on the steering wheel, of course. And it shows you your fuel range. And then it gives you a little bar graph as well of your current MPG. Then you have your eco score too. This is your hybrid system indicator too. Shows you the charge. Then you have your energy monitor. Then you have your settings that you can change, like the language, the units, the maintenance system, the pop-up display, any warning messages. Then you have your clock, an analog clock. Shows you your radios, what radio station is playing. Then you have your turn-by-turn direction for your navigation. Overall, it's a nice little driver information center, but it's kind of hard to read when it's pushed back all the way down there. I wish it was more like right here within the driver's eyesight. Now, as far as the way the Prius V drives, now this is certainly not an engaging hybrid to drive. The ride quality is pretty good. It's pretty smooth, and it provides a pretty quiet highway ride. However, the handling and the steering on this vehicle feels pretty numb, and it doesn't offer a whole lot of feedback. The CVT automatic transmission shifts pretty well and pretty smoothly with this powertrain, but the 1.8 liter four-cylinder just provides very lackluster acceleration and feels pretty anemic at times too. And I would certainly go for the Ford C-Max hybrid if you care about driving dynamics. That vehicle handles better and it's more powerful too, while still providing a pretty smooth and quiet highway ride. All right, and you also do have your different driving modes, which is your EV mode, and then you have your eco mode as well as your power mode. And let's go ahead and shut down the Prius V. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of the vehicle. Now, sitting in the rear, interior quality does follow through in the rear, and it's still pretty cheap feeling with the hard touch upper door panel. And then you have a cloth wrapped armrest. Now, getting in and out of the Prius V, especially getting into the rear of the vehicle, it's pretty easy. The doors open very wide, and then sitting back here, there's much more legroom than what you will find in the regular Prius, and the headroom is really good too. This is much better than the regular Prius, much more interior space. And these seats also do slide forward and aft, and they do recline as well. Now, in other markets, the Prius V actually gets a third row seat, which I don't know why they didn't put it for the North American market, but that's Toyota's decision. Then you have dual cup holders, and then mat pockets back here, and a rear center armrest. And all headrests are actually adjustable too. Their seat belt is located right there as well for the middle seat. Overall, not too shabby. Certainly has the room of a crossover. All right. Now the Prius V also has much more cargo space than the regular Prius. You also do have a light back here, a cargo light, little storage compartment, and then a 12-volt power outlet. These rear seats also do fold down to maximize cargo space. Full manual passenger seat, storage compartment, and your glove box. So with its roomy, family-friendly interior with lots of storage space and its good fuel efficiency, the Toyota Prius V is a pretty good choice for a family vehicle. However, if you do care about driving dynamics, then you may want to check out the Ford C-Max. So remember that this is Cameron Birch from Cameron's Car Reviews.